Recognize some very distinguished guests and some guests that are heavily involved in this program. On my far right, Dr. Peterson, if you would, from Georgia Tech. Mark Toro, Vice President, President of North American Properties. Kevin Green, President and CEO of Midtown Alliance. And the Honorable Kasim Reed, the current Mayor of Atlanta. Thank you very much. This is a unique program not only for the city of Atlanta, but for Georgia and the United States of America. You know, several months ago, Chief Turner, myself, and Chief Crocker sat together and talked about a program to enhance community policing. Now, the City of Atlanta and Chief Turner's staff does a terrific job with community policing. That's when you involve the communities directly. You do away with the word law enforcement sensitive, and you involve the community directly in every aspect. But we thought there still may be another step we could go. Let's design an automobile, a police car, okay? We've got police cars. Let's make it extremely unique. Let's eliminate the communications gap, even the small gap that exists, and let's staff this car with a City of Atlanta police officer and a Georgia Tech police officer at night working together. Where you look at the vast experience from the Georgia Tech officer on the campus, you look at the vast experience from the Atlanta police officer in Atlantic Station, Home Park, and the Midtown Improvement District. You put all of this experience together, you put it in one car, and it's a win-win situation. Chief Turner, Chief Crocker, and myself, all three thought, let's bring this to the interested parties and see what we can come up with. In other words, can we come up with the funds? We absolutely did. We went to North American Properties, Mark Toro, the first bite. Mark stood up forward. Kevin Green from Midtown Alliance, right behind him. Home Park Community stood up, put money into it, and the City of Atlanta donated probably what you might say even the most. And what would the most be? That would be the officers themselves and the Georgia Tech officers from the Georgia Institute of Technology to staff this vehicle, well-trained officers. The vehicle is in operation. It's an extremely unique vehicle. It is well equipped. It has a total of 5 cameras, 2 radar units. It has lockable containers in it. The vehicle has 27 emergency lights on it, extremely visible. In fact, we've heard that the Georgia Tech students have nicknamed the car now. It's called the Flying Saucer. It's so visible at night. Visible is what we wanted. But we thank you very much for being here. We look forward to this program going into service, and it's my pleasure to introduce Chief George Turner, the Chief of the City of Atlanta Police Department. Chief Turner.
Thank you, Colonel. I just really wanted to just echo the things that Colonel Mock talked about. You know, this is really about partnership. You know, we began this journey about 30 months ago with Mayor Reed and began to talk about how we can change the dynamics of what we do in the City of Atlanta and our policing efforts. And we began looking at our mission. Now, I've talked about our mission since I've been in place, and that is our #1 mission is to reduce crime and partner with our communities and really just improve the quality of life. And we've done that, and we've done that with great partners like Georgia Tech, of course the Midtown Alliance, and all of our community partners around this area. I wanted to say this: if you look at the sheer numbers, crime is down in this area. People care little about that because when there's one person that has been victimized by a crime, we are concerned. Both myself, Chief Crocker, and of course Dr. Peterson and my mayor. We're all concerned about the issues of crime. But I wanted you to know that we have not just began this partnership. We've had a detail car that's been working collectively with Georgia Tech for more than a year now. We've exerted thousands of additional hours in this community to continue to reduce crime, and we will continue to do that. This is a unique opportunity that allows us to partner with Georgia Tech in a real fashion. Every night, this car will be on patrol, will continue to be on patrol with an Atlanta police officer as well as a Georgia Tech officer. We're excited about this. We look forward to really strengthening our existing relationships as we move forward. And this time, I'd like to just kind of bring Chief Crocker up for a quick minute to talk about what her involvements are and the school's involvement with this partnership. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We just want to first of all thank Midtown Alliance, Atlantic Station, and Home Park for putting this project together with us because it couldn't have been done without their support, and we do appreciate that because we have so many of our undergraduate and graduate students that live in Home Park, that live in Atlantic Station, that make this their residence for the time they're at Georgia Tech. And we just saw this as another way that we could work together to keep them safe and to give them a sense of security in their homes and as they walk back and forth to Georgia Tech. So it's a great thing. We appreciate so much the work that's been done by Chief Turner and Colonel Mock, and we appreciate the fact that that this was a project that moved forward and is now a reality and will be another thing for our campus that we can tell our students another way that we're trying to keep them safe. So I just thank you, and I thank all of you for coming and making this part of our initiative that we've put together and we'll go forward with. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. At this time, I'd like to invite our 59th Mayor, Mayor Kasim Reed, up to the podium, please. Thank you, sir.
Well, I came today because I want everyone in the city to know that I care. Georgia Tech, of course, under Chief Crocker's leadership and Chief Turner, and of course President Bud Peterson, who is my dear friend, really is an essential element to the city of Atlanta's success. So to the extent that Georgia Tech has a problem, Atlanta has a problem. And I don't want anyone to have a notion that we aren't focused on dealing with this challenge as partners, and that as the leader of this city, I am prepared to commit whatever resources are necessary to turn the tide of violence. I want the parents in the city of Atlanta and throughout the state of Georgia to know that I care about what is happening on Georgia Tech's campus personally, that I speak with the chief about it personally, and that the 2,000 officers that we are building towards in the city of Atlanta will be used to make sure that this college campus is among the safest large college campuses in the United States of America. So to President Peterson, I want to say thank you. To Mark Turo, who's doing an incredible job with an Atlantic station, and of course the Midtown Alliance. I want you to know that I'm completely committed to you and ready to work as hard to turn the tide of violence as you are. Thank you.
Thank you all for coming. We'll take questions now from the media if you have any.
How many cars?
I'm sorry?
Just the one car, or is there more than
Presently, there's one joint police car that we have available, and we are taking donations. We can do additional ones if you have any money.
How effective, though, do you think one car would be in our area?
Well, obviously, this car is not the only car that's out patrolling during the times that we're concerned with. We have a regular beat car that's assigned to this area. We have our special operations sections that's been working. Our traffic unit's been working in this area because of the concern that we have around crime. I'm sure that Georgia Tech has additional patrol officers in the same space as well. We really are on top of each other, and we plan to stand and continue in that effort.
I'd just like to add to that, the important point is the level of collaboration by having an Atlanta police officer and a Georgia Tech officer in the same vehicle so they can coordinate. You won't lose minutes because you don't have an officer that understands the campus. When an APD officer comes on Georgia Tech's campus, they have to get their bearings and understand where they are and how to navigate the campus. By having a partnership between Georgia Tech and the city of Atlanta, we will eliminate that problem. The reason that this is so important because seconds and minutes matter when people's lives are at stake. So to the extent that we've got a competent Georgia Tech officer who can tell APD exactly what's going on, how to get there, we will cut down response times here. And it also is the beginning of a stronger and lasting relationship. Right now we have about 1,890 police officers. We're going to hire another 120. So I want to be very clear that we're going to deal with this problem one way or another. So if one car isn't enough, then we'll add another car and additional patrols. But we're going to do it as equals and as partners, working on this problem together.
Mayor, prior to this, was there a communication gap?
No, I don't think that prior to this there was a communication gap, but I think that times change. and that as criminals get more aggressive and become more violent, candidly, you have to partner to meet that kind of aggressive behavior. And so we're seeing a kind of aggression from outside of the community that is not typical of Georgia Tech. And the reason that the president and I came together, and the reason that our chiefs came together, one is to deal with the facts, which is we have a problem and we've got to be more aggressive. Two is to send a very clear message to every single parent that has a child here that it has the attention at the highest levels of Georgia Tech's police department and at my police department. And me personally and the president of Georgia Tech, the leaders of one of the most important developments in the city, the leader of Midtown Alliance. I want families to know how important this is, and I think that's why we're all here, and that's why we broke schedule. We've got great police leadership, but it's only at its best when it's partnered.
When you see people who are obviously targeting these college students, personally, how has this affected you when you see these stories over and over again? Obviously, the kids are being targeted.
Yeah, well, when I see people who are targeting kids, I'm going to target the people who target the kids. So folks who know me know that when I say something, I mean it. And I want to send a clear message that if you come on our campuses, not only Georgia Tech, but our university campuses, which are essential to what Atlanta is, that we're going to pursue these individuals and we're going to prosecute them. And that we're not going to use the excuse of resources to avoid dealing with this. We have enough resources. We've stood up the biggest police force in the history of the city, and we're focused on this. And today is just a part of this message. Chief, I'm sorry, but I wanted to clarify that. Mr. President, do you want to say anything?
I just want to echo what the mayor said and the chiefs. This is a collaborative effort. I think your question about was there a communications gap before? No, I don't think so. We've been partnering for a long time. We've strengthened that partnership more recently. I think what the mayor is referring to is if we have one of our officers in the car and there's an emergency at the Love Building, they know where the Love Building is. The Atlanta Police Department may not know where the Love Building is, or the CRC, or the other particular locations on campus, but our officers will, and that's what will help cut the response time.
When you see a crime like obviously with the people inside the dorm room with the young man, just emotionally, as a person who leads a university, how did that strike you, and how much do you want this obviously to stop?
Well, we clearly want it to stop. It's unacceptable. We're very concerned about it. It's very troubling when it happens on campus. A lot of the crime that we've had has happened off campus in the regions around. As Chief Turner mentioned, crime is actually down on and around the campus over the past several years, but one crime is too many. Any campus or any crime that occurs on campus is very troubling to all of us and something we need to take very seriously.
You know, because of all these crimes, there's been a push by some students to encourage other students to arm themselves. How do you feel about that?
I've opposed the arming, the open carry, concealed carry on campus. I think it's a mistake. I don't believe that it's the right thing for our campus or any other campus to undertake.
Let me add one thing, gentlemen. Besides the one car and the Georgia Tech officer and Atlanta officer, the Midtown Improvement District currently has 52 cameras, or 88% of the district under camera. Atlantic Station has 18 cameras. We've tied all these cameras together. One of the reasons we wanted to have the press conference here today, our vendor is installing a camera at Hirsch and 10th that'll be directly tied into Atlanta's Video Integration Center, directly tied into the Midtown Improvement District, the Midtown Blue Office, and directly monitored by Atlantic Station in the Home Park community. The second camera will go to 10th and Hempfield. It gives us the ability of having one car and two officers, but it also gives the ability of 65 cameras. What would the camera result to? The camera at 10th and Hurst becomes an officer on the pole as he views what's going on. As the car rolls through the community, not only the Video Integration Center looks at it, not only the Midtown Improvement District, not only Atlantic Station, but the officer in the car himself. So we've got a lot more than one car and two officers.
Thank you all so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Chief.
Go ahead, Mayor, sleep for the fifth.
turn the lights on, Mayor.
About a car.
Go ahead and turn the lights on.
I wish I knew how. Hey.